Right now on Good Morning America First Look, what's being called the healthcare cliff now fast approaching. Congress failing to find a solution to prevent healthcare insurance premiums from skyrocketing. What President Trump is now promising, plus Trump facing a major political setback, a rebuke from Republicans and red state Indiana. The flood emergency in the Pacific Northwest, 100,000 people bracing to evacuate, rivers at record highs. New images of the rescues with homes and highways underwater and more rain on the way. The University of Michigan head football coach fired, then arrested for alleged assault due in court today, what the school president is now asking for after accusing the coach of an inappropriate relationship. Plus, the new warning about rising energy and home heating costs this winter and what's to blame. How authorities say they busted a major retail theft ring targeting Home Depot stores in several states. The investigation into a man's death on a Florida roller coaster, what we've now learned. Later, the growing outrage over the price of World Cup soccer tickets. And one man's act of kindness for a little girl walking to school in the cold.
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America First Look.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sophie Flay.
And I'm Hannah Battah. We begin with the state of health care in America and insurance premiums set to skyrocket.
Two proposals to address the issue have failed in Congress, and now President Trump is suggesting a way forward. But it comes as the president suffers a major political setback, which could hurt Republicans in next year's crucial midterm elections. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio has the details. Hey, Nicole, good morning.
Well, Sophie, good morning. With Congress now in a stalemate on health care, President Trump appears to be striking a friendlier tone with Democrats in hopes of finding a bipartisan solution.
What a nice group of Democrats.
President Trump last night extending a rare olive branch to Democrats as he teases a yet-to-be-announced health care plan.
I really believe we can work on health care together and come up with something that's going to be much better, much less expensive for the people.
It comes after dueling health care bills failed to pass the Senate. Only 4 Republicans joined with Democrats on a bill to extend Obamacare subsidies, which expire at the end of the month, and a Republican bill that would replace the subsidies with direct payments into personal health savings accounts also fell well short of the 60 votes needed.
Democrats' so-called plan is a 3-year extension of the status quo. No reforms, no revisions, no rethinking of the way that Obamacare works.
After this, we'll not have time to try again before premiums shoot through the roof.
With Congress at an impasse, many are looking to the White House for a path forward.
You'll hear more from the president and from the White House on that very soon.
More than 20 million Americans are anxiously waiting. Some, like Stacey Cox, are now coming to terms with the prospect of their health care premiums quadrupling.
If those credits aren't extended, we don't have health insurance. We can't afford it.
Many Republicans are anxious to get something done with midterm elections next year threatening their majority in Congress. Adding to that pressure, a major political setback for President Trump and his congressional redistricting push. Lawmakers in deep red Indiana rebuking pressure from the president, rejecting a redrawn congressional map that would have likely netted Republicans 2 congressional seats next year. Some lawmakers saying they received anonymous threats before the vote.
After considering all the arguments offered in support of mid-cycle gerrymandering, I see no justification that outweighs the harms it would inflict upon the people's faith in the integrity of our elections.
A conservative think tank claiming Trump threatened to strip federal funding from Indiana, saying roads will not be paved, guard bases will close, major projects will stop. White House officials tell Politico Trump never made such threats, but the president last night saying this about the Republican leader of the Indiana Senate.
You had one gentleman, the head of the Senate, I guess, Bray, whatever his name is. I heard he was against it. He'll probably lose his next primary, whenever that is. I hope he does, but because he's done a tremendous disservice.
And the economy is the big issue for voters, and a new poll shows only 31% of Americans approve of how Trump is handling the economy, a record low for him. Sophie?
Nicole, thank you. Now to the flood emergency in Washington state. This video shows the Coast Guard rescuing 4 people from a flooded home. Up to 100,000 people are facing possible evacuation after days of rain. Up to 16 inches fell in some areas. Some rivers now at record levels and still rising. The water closing at least 30 state highways. One man was stranded on the roof of his car, and rescuers used a drone to drop him a life vest. He was eventually airlifted. We'll check your forecast in a few moments.
A brutal attack inside the iconic Macy's department store in New York City. The New York Post reports a tourist was shopping when a homeless woman attacked her with a knife. The attack being described as unprovoked. The victim is in stable condition and the suspect was arrested.
A new warning about home heating and electricity prices as we head into winter. Get ready to pay even more. Here's ABC's Andrea Fujii.
This morning, energy costs are on the rise.
Outrageous prices.
A new report finds that the price of electricity has increased 13% across the country this year.
Middle of the winter time, I'm paying over $1,000 a month for my Con Ed bill. Moved here from New Jersey and I wasn't never paying over a few $100s.
Since the beginning of the year, New York's energy costs have gone up more than $550, just behind Missouri's, which increased more than $560, and Massachusetts, which saw the biggest increase, more than $700. Aging infrastructure and regulations get some of the blame. Other factors include artificial intelligence data centers, which can demand as much electricity as a small city, and the end of tax credits for solar, wind, and other renewable energy sources.
Which is really what can be, built in the next few years to meet that growing demand. All of these things are coming together to create this affordability crisis.
The report also warns the cost of natural gas is expected to spike because companies are selling some of their supplies overseas where they fetch higher prices.
When manufacturers or suppliers would prefer to export it because they get a lot more money for it overseas, that's one challenge.
If it's going to go up even more, it's really tough on us.
But customers do have power. A New York utility company was proposing double-digit rate increases, but when people protested, they scaled back the increases to 3%. Hannah, Sophie.
Andrea, thank you. New images of U.S. forces seizing an oil tanker off Venezuela. Officials say it was carrying sanctioned oil to support terrorist organizations. President Trump says land strikes in Venezuela could begin soon and says more tankers could be seized. Meantime, Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro, says Vladimir Putin called him to express support for Venezuela.
Former University of Michigan football coach Sharon Moore is due in court today after his arrest for an alleged assault. The father of three also remains under investigation by the school, which fired him citing an inappropriate relationship. Newly released police audio seems to pinpoint the location of his arrest with the home of a university employee.
There's a male at the location and the house attacking her. The state's been stalking her for months.
Moore was arrested just hours after being fired. So far, he has not been charged, and his attorney says he has no comment. The school's president is asking anyone with information about Moore's behavior to come forward.
Now to a former NBA player who made history. He's speaking to ESPN, revealing his personal health struggle, vowing to fight after a devastating diagnosis. This morning, the first openly gay NBA player, Jason Collins, is revealing he has stage 4 brain cancer.
So I have a glioblastoma. It is butterflied. It's pretty much taken over.
The 13-year NBA veteran says earlier this year he started suffering memory loss. Doctors would soon find a baseball-sized mass in his brain. They told Collins, at best, he had only about a year to live.
The time frame that they gave was if you do nothing, it is 6 weeks to 3 months of your life.
If you do the standard of care here in the United States for the stage of glioblastoma.
Yeah, it's 13 months.
So Collins and his husband traveled to Singapore for experimental therapy.
It was an easy decision to get more experimental. Just like I knew I was doing the right decision when I came out publicly, and if not for me, for someone else.
Collins says he's fighting not just for himself.
I'm unafraid to break through a wall or try to do everything possible. I think because I'm so surrounded by love. And I know that my family is so strong and they will be okay.
Collins plans to remain in Singapore for 6 more weeks for that treatment.
Time now for your Friday weather.
Hey, Sophie and Hannah, happy Friday. As we head into the weekend, the Pacific Northwest drying out after that atmospheric river brought rounds and rounds of rain this week. We'll get a brief break through the weekend before another round of rain pushes into western Washington Sunday night into Monday. For the upper Midwest and Northeast, it's all about the frigid feel. We're looking at sub-zero wind chills throughout the weekend from Minneapolis over through Chicago. But the southern half of the country, dry with some sunshine. So, hey, head south if you're looking for a warm up. In New York, I'm meteorologist Andy Beckstrom for ABC News.
Coming up, what we've learned about a recent death on a Florida roller coaster.
Also ahead, the cause of this massive explosion rocking a California neighborhood.
And now authorities say they busted a retail theft ring targeting Home Depot stores in several states. That huge gas explosion destroyed 2 homes south of Oakland, California. Several people had to be rushed to the hospital. 3 were in serious condition. Officials say minutes earlier, a construction crew had damaged a gas line.
In Florida, a man's death on a roller coaster at Epic Universe theme park has been ruled accidental. Sheriff's office saying it found no evidence of a crime in the death of 32-year-old Kevin Zavala. He died in September after sustaining multiple blunt impact injuries. He was with his girlfriend, who said his head hit a metal bar on the first drop of the ride.
We turn now to another retail theft ring across multiple states.
Authorities say they've busted a massive theft ring targeting Home Depot stores in 9 states, from Maryland to Massachusetts.
This crew was amazingly coordinated, disciplined, meticulous, and dedicated.
The New York-based crew, a team of 13 people, allegedly stole more than $2 million in merchandise from 128 stores, including power tools, air conditioners, and household goods. Officials say the recovered products displayed here amount to only 1% of the items recovered. Surveillance video shows how the group pulled off the scheme, dumping goods into a garbage bin, then wheeling them out of the store. In some cases, one member of the crew created a distraction so the others could slip out undetected. The stolen items were then sold through a storefront or on Facebook Marketplace. It's just the latest in a series of large-scale retail theft rings. More than a dozen people were arrested over the summer, accused of stealing $10 million in items from Home Depots in California. And a California woman pleaded guilty last year to running a crime ring that stole $8 million worth of cosmetics from retailers like Ulta and Sephora. Prosecutors say she hired women to steal the beauty products, then stashed them at her multi-million-dollar home and sold them on Amazon. New York's governor says tougher retail theft laws helped bring down this latest theft ring.
Since we changed the laws and put money behind this effort, retail theft crimes are down 14% in the city and across the state of New York.
Police are still searching for one of those suspects. They each face up to 25 years in prison if convicted.
Coming up, rescuers save a man dangling off a roof.
Also ahead, outrage over the price of World Cup soccer tickets, why they're so much higher than expected.
Back now at the Florida man dangling from his roof. He slipped while blowing leaves, but he managed to hang on until 2 officers came to the rescue. He apologized to them for the trouble, but they said that's what they're there for.
Michael Jordan's racing team is considered among the winners after settling a lawsuit against NASCAR. The suit accused NASCAR of being a monopoly. After 8 days of testimony, NASCAR agreed to the team's demands for permanent status on the racing circuit and a fixed portion of the revenue.
Unfortunately, it took 16 months to get here, but I think, level heads has got us to this point to where we can actually work together and grow this sport.
The terms of the settlement were not released, but one estimate says NASCAR owes the teams more than $360 million.
Americans have soccer fever with the World Cup coming here next year, but many are now realizing the prices are out of reach.
Soccer may commonly be referred to as the beautiful game, but the cost of admission to the World Cup is getting ugly. One fan organization now speaking out, calling ticket prices for next year's tournament extortionate and a monumental betrayal of the tradition of the World Cup. FIFA did announce prices as low as $60, but critics say those tickets are nearly non-existent. A new price list now shows tickets starting at $180, nearly 9 times the $21 price tag that U.S. officials targeted when they bid for the tournament.
Even though I have adult money, I can't really afford some of these tickets, which is just insane for the everyday fans.
If a fan wanted to watch their team go all the way to the final, tickets could top $8,000.
We are in the region of $30,000 for a family of 4. This is the vast majority of football fans can't afford this.
While some tickets are being offered at fixed prices, FIFA is also using dynamic pricing, adjusting prices based on demand.
These ticket prices, I just feel like it's so ridiculous. It's too hard.
I was seeing 4 digits, anywhere between the neighborhood of like 15 to 2,500.
But FIFA says the pricing model reflects the existing market practice for major entertainment and sporting events. And experts warn those prices will likely increase as the tournament gets closer.
A wild end to Thursday night football. The Tampa Bay Bucks blew a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter. The Falcons winning on a walk-off field goal, 29-28. Kyle Pitts got 3 touchdowns. The Bucks slipping out of first place in their division. And coming up, what could be more critical than diet or exercise for a long life?
Plus, one man's act of kindness for a little girl walking to school in the cold. Time to check the pulse. We start with a random act of kindness.
It started when a man in Detroit saw a young girl walking to school in the bitter cold. She didn't have a hat or gloves, so Joshua Threat called police. Then he escorted her to school himself. Once they arrived, Threat got emotional, speaking to the girl's teacher.
She probably scared. She been walking for about 10 blocks.
Where's your sister?
She probably scared. So many people just pulled up on that little girl. I'm so happy I saved her.
Thank you, baby. God gonna bless you too.
I'm so happy I saved her.
I actually thought about my youngest, because my youngest is the same age, so it was like, this shouldn't be, like, somebody need to be with her.
Well, it gets better. He set up a fundraising page online to buy gifts, and so far he's raised more than $7,500.
Happy to see a good ending to that story.
Yeah.
Even just seeing his breath in that first video, you can feel how cold it must have been.
Absolutely. Well, next, what's more critical than exercise and a good diet for living a long life? Well, according to a new study, it's sleep.
Maybe not the story I need to be thinking about after being an insomniac for 2 weeks, but apparently they say that getting enough sleep constitutes at least 7 hours a night for a regular basis, and doctors say that is crucial. They said they were surprised by the strong correlation between sleep and longevity, even when a long list of other variables were considered. You gotta get your beauty rest. Next, the wait is over. It is time to taste test the newest Girl Scout cookie.
Introducing Explore More's. It's a Rocky Road ice cream inspired sandwich cookie with flavors of chocolate, marshmallow, and toasted almond cream.
Yum.
The Girl Scouts say the new cookie reflects their spirit of exploration. Can't wait to try that one.
Yes.
And finally, 2 young bears playing like children.
So a zoo right here in New York just released this video showing 2 bears using that tree branch you see there as a seesaw. Some people saying they look just like kids wearing bear costumes, and I can see why.
I love that they're playing.
So sweet. Love animals.
Top headlines next. Checking more top stories, the man wrongfully deported to a prison in El Salvador before being returned to the U.S. is free once again. Kilmar Abrego Garcia has been released from an immigration detention center. A judge saying the Trump administration lacks legal authority to hold him.
President Trump saying he believes Republicans can work with Democrats to come up with a plan to prevent health insurance premiums from skyrocketing next month. Senators yesterday failed to pass 2 proposals. Republicans want reforms to Obamacare.
Measles cases nationwide are surging, raising concern about exposure during holiday travel. More than 250 people in South Carolina are in quarantine after being exposed. Officials blame low vaccination rates.
Today's weather, snow in parts of the Midwest and the northern Rockies, and river levels rising in the Northwest after days of rain.
And finally, celebrating Dick Van Dyke's 100th birthday.
Here's Danny New.
The Dick Van Dyke Show.
A Hollywood legend. Spending a century doing whatever it takes to make us smile.
I like performing. I'm a ham. And getting in front of the cameras is fun.
Ahead of his 100th birthday on Saturday, Dick Van Dyke spoke with ABC's Chris Connolly from his home in Malibu. His wife of 13 years, Arlene Silver, by his side.
Dick Van Dyke as Mystery Man.
She was also with the Illinois native when he won a Daytime Emmy last year at 98. 'Cause you got all my love. And danced alongside him in the Coldplay music video, All My Love.
We go to the gym 3 days a week. And she's a health nut, and we work out. That's good advice for anybody
Of course, natural physicality has always been his trademark.
Gray skies are gonna clear up, put on a happy face.
From when he burst on the scene in 1960 with his Tony-winning performance in Bye Bye Birdie, to his 5 seasons as the star of The Dick Van Dyke Show, to his chimney-sweeping, movie star-making performance alongside Julie Andrews in Mary Poppins. As legend has it, Van Dyke never actually took a dance lesson. Well, who needs that when you have the world's greatest supply of charisma? Here he is performing with his quartet, The Fantastics, a few years back. In 2015, he released a book called Naturally Keep Moving, and then followed it up this year with 100 Rules for Living to 100. Soon, though, he may have even more to share.
The funniest thing is, it's not enough. 100 years is not enough. You want to live more, which I plan to.
And reportedly, guys, Walt Disney was able to purchase land in Orlando to build our parent company's Disney World, thanks in large part to the tremendous success of Mary Poppins. So thank you, Dick, for Disney World, too.
Thanks, Danny. And that's your Good Morning America First Look.
Have a great Friday. See you Monday.